which simply means Veritas Newspaper Review. This is a Catholic newspaper owned by the Catholic Diocese of Benin City, and of course, it's the July edition of the show. Agnes Onwewo is my name.
And I am Chioma Assumpta Okovido. You can get copies of the Veritas newspaper in any parish in the Archdiocese of Benin, or you can come to number 34 Airport Road, Benin City, to get a copy of the Veritas newspaper for as low as 500 naira.
Yes, you can get a copy of the Veritas newspaper at any Catholic parish in Benin City. Right now, we are diving into the business of the day, and on the front page of the Veritas newspaper, we have this big headline which says, "Don't be quiet, speak out against any act of injustice." For now, you can tell Nigerians, don't be quiet, speak out against any act of injustice. Or now you can tell Nigerians. Chima, what do you make of the story?
You know, Cardinal Onaiko was actually speaking at the Catholic Secretariat Abuja when he was addressing them at the inauguration of the Catholic Social Teaching. You know, Onaiko is one of the 4 cardinals we have in Nigeria, and he's an elder in the Catholic Church. So as an elder in the Catholic community and as a cardinal, you know, he was strengthening us not to be afraid to air our views on injustice in Nigeria.
Yeah, I like the fact that you said as an elder. I mean, the former Emeritus Bishop John, Cardinal John, of course, we have to add his title, Cardinal John Onaikan, is someone that, I mean, always lends his voice when it comes to any issue, you know, in the country. You always hear him speak, and I like the fact that, I mean, he's encouraging others, priests, and I mean, all Christ-like faithfuls to, you know, always, you know, speak out when there is any injustice. Don't just keep quiet. Don't just say it doesn't affect me, I'm not the person directly involved, so it shouldn't be my business. I mean, always lend your voice when it's needed.
And just below that headline, we have Father Umo urges young youth chaplains to create opportunities for media development among youth. Father Umo urges youth chaplains to create opportunities for media development among youth. It will interest you to know that Father Umo is National Director of Social Communications in Abuja, and he was urging youth, you know, to take AI seriously. And, you know, that's intriguing because even the Holy Father at the G7 summit was also encouraging youth to take AI seriously. You can get details about that on page 22 of the Veritas newspaper.
Yes, the world is changing. I mean, everyone has to embrace the change. I mean, AI has come to stay, so I like that. Okay, just below that we have the sub-headline which says multiple projects unveiled as Infant Jesus Eucharistic Adoration Ministry marks 11 years. Multiple projects unveiled as Infant Jesus Eucharistic Adoration Ministry marks 11 years. You can find the details of the story on page 39 of the Veritas newspaper.
And just below that, you see Father Chinemere marks Golden Jubilee birthday celebration with children with special needs. Father Chimere marks Golden Jubilee celebration with children with special needs. This held at Bishop Kelly Pastoral Center, where he celebrated his 50th birthday with children with special needs. That is commendable, you know, celebrating his golden year with children with special needs, recognizing that there are people in society, they shouldn't be left behind. We celebrate with Father Chinemere, and we say many, many more years to Father Chinemere.
Of course, absolutely commendable. And I wish other priests would also follow suit. It's good to see people that look out for, you know, people that don't have, you know, certain privileges, that don't have, you know, what it takes to have a normal life, you know. So we really thank Father Chinemere for this act of kindness, and of course we wish him many more healthy and blissful years ahead. Okay, so away from that, we also have this a sub-headline which says religious tolerance, how some Christian leaders delivered peace lecture at Eid Praying Ground in Kaduna. Religious tolerance, how some Christian leaders delivered peace lecture at Eid Praying Ground in Kaduna. Details of this report will be on, or rather it is on page 40 of the Veritas newspaper.
And just next to that, you have a Monsignor plays no special role in the Catholic Church, and that was said by Reverend Father Eno, the parish priest of Our Lady of Fatima Catholic Church, Ugbo. You know, he makes us to understand that the Monsignor title is an honorary title, and the special thing about the Monsignor is that his cassock has some red buttons, a red cap, a red shirt. If you want details of that interview, it's on page 12 of the Veritas newspaper.
I think this is humility as we speak. I mean, he's I think trying to let young priests know that, I mean, being a Monsignor doesn't really mean that you have a special tag. You are just like a normal, whatever it is. But we really thank you for reminding others what this actually means. And we also have this headline which says Warri Diocese at 60, there is so much to be thankful for, says Ewerudo, as 9 is raised to the priesthood order. Warri Diocese at 60, there is so much to be thankful for, says Ewerudo, as 9 is raised to the priesthood order. Interestingly, Chima grew up in Warri Diocese, and I know she has a lot to say on this.
Yes, absolutely. I grew up in Warri Diocese, and this warms my heart because we now have about 160 parishes in Warri Diocese. 9 priests were raised, and the bishop was elated. Most Reverend Anthony Ewerudo says that these 9 priests that were ordained makes the total priests in Warri Diocese, raises this to 280 priests in Warri Diocese. And it will interest you to know that the Archbishop is the 4th bishop in Warri Diocese. Our own Archbishop was the last apostolic administrator before he handed over to Ewerudo. He was so thankful for 60 years of Warri being a diocese. That means Warri Diocese started in 1964, just shortly after independence. Kudos to Warri Diocese. We look forward to seeing many more priests from Warri Diocese.
Yeah, as we felicitate with Warri Diocese, we also recognize other dioceses that have raised, I mean, some young deacons that will be joining the priesthood in no distant time, and that is something to be grateful about. All right, so we also have the sub headline which says why we are building a Montessori school at Holy Trinity Parish in Noje. Why we are building a Montessori school at Holy Trinity Parish in Noje.
Yeah, and after that we have another sub-headline that says, my plans for the Archdiocesan Guild of St. Anthony of Padua. The newly elected president, Ewesi, speaks. We'll get that on page 5 of the Veritas newspaper.
And yes, we have this sub-headline which says, Marian devotees, Christ Faithful storm Minor Seminary grant for Rosary Carnival in honor of the Visitation. Marian devotees, Christ Faithful storm Minor Seminary grant for Rosary Carnival in honor of the Visitation, and the full report is on page 5 of the Veritas newspaper. And interestingly, I was a part of this. I mean, it was a memorable event, and funny enough, it was actually my first time of participating in such, and so I enjoyed every bit of it. From the procession, it was colorful, to the mass, to the everything. I mean, it was really an event that I never knew that I would actually partake in. Actually, I think I look forward to attending more rosary procession like this, carnival like this in future.
It's actually an annual event that is hosted around the Visitation of the Blessed Virgin Mary, and I also attended, and it was my second time attending. I'm a Marian devotee, and the theme was on the power of the Most Holy Rosary. And something caught my attention was a testimony by Reverend Father Agbolaho. He spoke about the testimony of the Most Holy Rosary, and I too have a testimony of the Most Holy Rosary. Recently, I had the privilege to author a book on the Most Holy Rosary, and it's titled The Rosary, Our Weapon for Today's Victory. The Rosary, Our Weapon for Today's Victory. You can get copies of The Rosary, Our Weapon for Today's Victory at St. Paul's Bookshop. Actually, Vivian Ogu's bookshop at St. Paul's Catholic Church. And if you want an e-version, you can check us out on Amazon or Seller. And if you're wondering, does this have the covering of the Catholic Church? Oh yes, it does. Our very own Archbishop Akubeze gave the imprimatur for this book, Our Rosary, the Weapon for Today's Victory. And the Catholic Bishop of Minna Diocese also gave the nihil obster for this book. And interestingly, this year is the year of prayer. This year was declared the year of prayer. So if you want to turn up your prayers, please get a copy of the Rosary, Our Weapon for Today's Victory, in St. Paul's Bookshop.
Of course, yeah. Speaking of Vivian Ogu, we have a photograph on the front page of the Veritas newspaper, which is a scene from a stage play inspired by the life of Vivian Ogu, written by the chaplain of Benin City Dinari, CYON, Reverend Father Mordecai Alogena, Barrister Mrs. Elizabeth Omunowa, directed by Oshima Samuel. Nyemali Gift Omini, displayed at Madonna Event Center, St. Paul Parish, by youth across Benin City Dinner recently. I mean, if you attended that event, you would tell that, I mean, it actually depicts the life of the young late Vivian Ogu. I mean, I like the fact that it didn't just talk about Vivian Ogu, it also hinted at the challenges young people are facing currently. You see people, young people these days don't have opinion of their own, they get influenced by their peers, you see them doing all sorts of things. I mean, they've lost morals, but sometimes you don't really blame them. These are things that they see and they want to do, not because they want to do it, but they are pushed to do it. And I really commend the cast and of course everybody that put this stage play together. Kudos to you all.
And it's interesting, you know, this is an educational tool to use, stage play to depict the life of Vivian Ogu, because a wise man once said that what I read I forget, but what I see I remember. I'm sure for those of you who watch this play, you will never forget the life of Vivian Ogu, and for those who took part in the cast, what I do I understand. So kudos to those who put this together. It will entrench the life of Vivian Ogu in our memories for a very long time.
Alright, right about now we are going on a quick commercial break. When we return, we'll give you more headlines. Of course, we have the voice of the faithful, and of course then we look at some other headlines at the back page of Veritas newspaper. Stay tuned.
Hello there. Do you have an upcoming event, or would you love the services of a printing press? I know two brands you can trust: Florid System Printing Press and Catholic Social Communication Benin are your best bet to deliver top-notch services at a very affordable rate. Florid System Printing Press specializes on all kinds of printing, ranging from notebooks, jotters, calendars, magazines, flyers, banners, and much more. While Catholic Social Communication Benin offers distinct video and photo coverage services nationwide for any event, be it weddings, funerals, birthdays, conferences, and lots more. Florid System Printing Press and Catholic Social Communication Benin are located at number 30 and 34 Airport Road beside St. Paul's Catholic Church, Benin City. For bookings or business inquiries, kindly contact us on 070-4387-3298. 070-4387-3298.
Welcome back from our short break. It is V Alert, the July edition of the newspaper review of the Veritas newspaper. We've been reviewing the front page of the Veritas newspaper. Now we go to page 11, the voice of the faithful. I am Chioma Assumpta Okovido.
And I still remain Agnes Onwebu.
Interestingly, the voice of the faithful, we're discussing the old new national anthem. You know, on the 29th of 2024 this year, it dropped on us like a bomb. We just found out that we had a new old national anthem. What's your take on the reversal of the old national anthem? Nigeria, we hail thee, in replacement of Arise, O Compatriots, by the federal government. What's your take on that?
Yeah, just like you said, on the 29th of May 2024, a bill was signed into law, which is what that we are going to revert back to the old national anthem. And I'm asking myself, really, at the moment, is it what we should be thinking of or even talking about at this time? I mean, Nigerians are faced with a lot of challenges at this moment. Absolutely. There is hardship, there is insecurity, just there's any problem you could think of in Nigeria at the moment. And this is the only thing the federal government could think of at the moment. I think it's misplacement of priority.
Give express attention.
Yeah, I think probably that is the topmost priority of the federal government at the moment. I mean, people, I don't want to say this, but I think everyone is saying that probably they don't really have anything to offer. That is why they are going back to this. Then if you ask me, if we're going back to the old, I mean, we should go back to when a cup of Barry was like 15 naira. I mean, I'm speaking for myself. I mean, there were times people bought it 30, 20 naira. I think, yes, I think I met okay, I'm not old still. I'm beyond Gen Z. All right, so you know we should go back to when things life was not this tough for
simple.
everyone.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the common Nigeria could afford 3 square meal. You understand? But now it's not the same. Some families barely eat 1 full square meal, let alone 2 to 3.
Yeah.
So, and this is what the federal government is coming up with. I mean, I don't see it's a welcome. I don't think it's a welcome development to me and a few Nigerians too.
I understand, you know, I understand where you're coming from. This is not what we're expecting at this point. People are grappling with a lot of tough situations, but yeah, you know, let's look at it as light in the darkness. My only setback here for this anthem is that the old one was written by Nigerians for Nigerians. You know, it interests you to know that a Benin man, I think Paben or Diase, was the one who gave the beats for the national anthem, and for us to just go and take the one that was done by the British. But on the good side, you know, when we're in school, everything has advantages and disadvantages. For me, the wordings of the national anthem speaks to me. You know, there's this line that said, though tribe and tongue may differ, we stand in brotherhood. So let's stand in brotherhood and pray that we'll have a country where peace and prosperity reigns. You know, a cross-section of Catholics spoke on this national anthem on page 11. You will see David Nwafo, who's a teacher, Shirley Izilen, Amaka Idubo, and so many other people shared their mind. And just like we are divided on opinions, so also they were divided. So you can check that on page 11 of the Veritas newspaper.
And of course, that's the voice of the faithful. Away from that, we're heading straight to the back page of the Veritas newspaper, and I don't know why I'm actually laughing.
Because it's for sports lovers.
Okay, yes.
Sports
So
lovers.
we have this sub-headline which says, fathers defeat fathers. 3-2 at CMO football friendly. What's your take, Chioma? Fathers
defeat fathers. Which fathers are, you know, is this a code for fathers and fathers? Who is the father and who are the
exactly
fathers?
like you have to figure out the father.
You know, it was Father's Day and the CMO of St. Paul's Parish decided to just throw in some spice, and you know, they've had a history where the priests have been whooping the fathers, and this time around the father said and you know, the comrade,
we're not having it this time.
We're not having it this time. And you know, Superman came to the rescue in the person of comrade Philip Schweibu. He took the penalty kick that changed the narrative and removed the shame from the faces of the fathers. It was an interesting outing on Father's Day. So much fun, you know, it was so entertaining. That is at the back page of the Veritas newspaper. I'm sure you were there as well.
I wasn't, but I mean, I think there have been reports that, you know, the priests have already been beating the fathers,
whooping them.
I don't actually blame them, because I mean they're engrossed with lots of responsibilities, you know. So they're always thinking about family, so they don't really have them. How many of them even exercise these days? But I like the fact that at a time like this, they come together to have fun. This is not a game. It's actually fun. You understand? So, and I like the fact that defeated priests this time.
Yes.
Okay, so
after
we are
losing
for fathers
consecutively.
Of course, shout out to the former deputy governor of Edo State
who
for
saved the day.
The last kick that brought in the victory for the CMO.
Who was Lionel Messi for CMO.
Exactly.
And moving on, we have another headline that says, I did nothing to become world's best player. It's a gift from God, Lionel Messi. I did nothing to become world's best player. It's a gift from God. This is humility speaking. This guy has been world best player 8 times. And he's saying it's a gift from God. I'm not a sports person as such, but I want to understand the hard work that's put into this, and he just gives it to God. It's a lesson to all of us that no matter how, you know, good we're doing in our spheres of influence and contact, we should always just give the glory to God.
Yes, Messi is someone that a lot of young people, I mean football lovers and aspiring footballers always look up to. Yeah. And it's good to, I mean, actually reading this coming from him, I mean, giving the credit to God, acknowledging God. Actually, I mean, it gives you this sense of, you know, gratitude and being grateful.
Yeah.
We are not just having this and feeling like, okay, I've arrived. I mean, I
Yeah.
have the words, I have the wealth, I have the fame, I have everything. So what am I lacking? Nothing.
Yeah.
But he still acknowledges his maker. I mean, this
Yeah.
is
Huge.
I mean, all that footballers should also, toe this path.
Yeah, take a cue from
Don't feel
him.
that the fact that I'm known or if I'm skilled is by my power. I mean, this actually came from God. I mean, and that shows that every one of us have something to offer. You just have to put in your best. Alrighty, this is where we draw the curtains. Be alert for the month of July. But just before we go, we wanted to know that you can advertise with us, contact us for your product adverts, change of name, announcements, ceremonies, etc. Of course, our advert is now negotiable and affordable. For your advert placement, please call 0704 387 3298 or 0806 125 5024.
And at the Catholic Social Communication, you can now follow us on our social media handles. On Facebook is Veritas Communication Benin. On Facebook is Veritas Communication Benin, and our YouTube channel is the Catholic Archdiocese of Benin Communication. You can meet us for your live streaming, your photo book, your video coverage, your weddings, birthday coverage, burial ceremonies, and more. You can contact us on 0813 744 7852 or 0806 125 5024.
And of course, you can follow us on socials. On Facebook, it is Veritas Communication Benin, and YouTube channel is Catholic Archdiocese of Benin City Communication.
Is a wrap on the July edition of V Alert. It's been interesting, wonderful stories, and there are many more stories inside the newspaper. So you can get a copy at any parish in the Archdiocese of Benin City, or you can come to number 34 Airport Road to get your copy for 500 naira. And I am Chioma Assumpta Okovido.
And I still remember yours truly, Agnes Onwubi.